Okay, now I am on my Athlete Training Peaks account, and I'm going to show you how to do a few things here. So first of all, my screen may look a little different than yours because the boxes here are kind of small and they don't have a lot of detail in them. You can expand these boxes by going over here to the right, and if you click on the picture with the bigger boxes, you'll see in a minute that everything gets bigger. Of course, my cat has to go across here right at this moment. Okay, now, so let's look at last week. Okay, couple things. You'll notice that one of these workouts, one of these blocks, it has a color. If I go back into the past, you'll see some of them are yellow, a bunch of them are red, I've got green, they're all different colors. Okay, that just tells us whether what you uploaded kind of fit the mold of what was there. So the mold of what's there is obviously the workouts that I've written for you. If you upload data and it goes into a different day, then the box is not going to be green. The only time you get a green box is when the data that you uploaded pretty much complies with what the workout was and it was uploaded on the same day. All right. That doesn't mean your data isn't there if it doesn't have a color on it. It just means it wasn't there wasn't an evaluation made whether it complied with the planned workout or not. So I want you to completely not worry about the colors of the blocks. Okay. So we are now working on, let's look at this week, and there are some workouts that clearly there is no data. Okay, so let's look, for instance, at the trainer climb. All right, the reason I know there's no data is it has a planned number, but it doesn't have a completed number. If I look to this other box here, you see it says planned an hour and completed 109. If it has a completed number, that means that there's data there. All right. If you have something like this, where you obviously have data because you have a funny number up there, 301 yards. I would never create a workout that was 301 yards. It also doesn't have a description. If you look here, you've got completed, so 5 minutes and 30 seconds of swimming. That's got to be data. That's not something that I would have written. If I write a workout for you, it has a title and it has some instructions. Okay, so you can pretty much look at this and go, okay, there's data for a swim. There's data for a run. I've got these strength moves that didn't get recorded. Because they didn't get recorded, there's no data for that. It's a red, like you didn't comply with that, which is no big deal. Okay. Here we've got a swim. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. We've got a swim workout, 2,000-yard swim. That didn't happen. There was no data recorded for that. I can't tell you exactly why this is not red and this is. I don't know. I don't have all the answers for Training Peaks. Okay, but the question was, how do you know if there's data there? The simplest thing is just click on it. Okay, if there is something in the completed column, that means there's data there. Okay, so this is completed swim data. To get out of this screen, you're going to click on the X. So let's now click on the run. Okay, is there data there? Yes. You've got all this data here. Okay, now what are you going to do with that data? Well, depends on what your workout said. If your workout goal is to sustain a particular heart rate for the duration of the workout, you can pretty much tell here. You're going to look at heart rate. What's going to jump out at you here is there's nothing in heart rate. Oh my gosh, maybe I didn't wear my strap. That's possible, but obviously heart rate data didn't upload. Okay, so if I was looking at, say, a zone 2 run, I would come down here. I'd look heart rate. What was my average heart rate? And hopefully I would know what zone 2 was, and I'd know whether I succeeded. Okay, On this particular run, I have an average pace here, but because there's nothing in the heart rate, that means that didn't populate. Also, not a big deal for you to worry about. Okay, I'm going to click out of that. I'm going to find a run that actually has heart rate on it, because you will be looking at that. So here is a run. Okay, again, why this one doesn't have any color and this one does, even though data was uploaded on the same day, I can't tell you. It doesn't matter. Click on that run. Yes, you have data. It's here, and lo and behold, there's a heart rate number there. Okay, so if my task was to maintain a particular heart rate, I would be able to tell if on average I did that. Okay, but there's a lot more data that you can look at. So up here, click on the expand button, and now things open up and you get all sorts of goodies. Okay, these are all charts, and you decide what charts you want by going up here to the top. Click on here, it says Charts Library. Click on it. There's all sorts of things that you can choose. Most important one is going to be time in heart rate zones, time in zones heart rate. You click on it and drag it. You see now I'm getting a duplicate, but that's okay. All right, time, heart rate by zones. Okay, let me get rid of my duplicate one. I don't want to get too confusing. Heart rate zones are programmed into Training Peaks. There's a default level, and then there's a level that I will put in there for you once I have data from your bicycle time trial. The purpose of that is to set those training zones. So those will be real precisely set as soon as I get that from you. But in the interim, there's just some default numbers in there. So this is a run. Zone, how long did you spend in zone 1? Here it says 32 minutes and 38 seconds in zone 1. And also says what the heart rate zone is, what the numbers are. Zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Time and heart rate, time in the various zones is going to be really important on the bike. Really on the run, you're going to be more worried about pace. And just as I said before, where I can program different heart rate zones into your profile, I can also put in different running paces. Okay, so you can see how long you spent at a particular pace. Okay, so let's go over to the right here. You can scroll up. You can see how long you worked out, how far you went. I wouldn't worry about the other numbers for now. Heart rate, average, and max. Cadence is the same as RPM, or steps per minute. Average pace per mile, average, maximum. This will show you elevation changes. This is interesting down here. Your Garmin will automatically record data for every mile. It calls a mile a lap, unless you call it something different. So every mile, it's going to give you a particular time. Okay, so lap number 3, mile 3, you can tell that was a steep uphill or time just standing around. Can't really tell. All it knows is that it took 21 minutes and 42 seconds to cover that 3rd mile. All right. Okay. So when you are using your walk breaks, for instance, okay, and again, this is a hill workout, so I didn't pick the greatest example, but if your goal pace was an easy pace, you would be looking at, and let's say your easy pace was a 10-minute mile, okay, you'd be looking for this number to be 10, that you averaged a 10-minute mile for that mile. Okay, if you're working at T pace, which is threshold pace, let's say that is supposed to be a 9.5-minute mile. Okay, then you would look and you go, did I hit 9.5 minutes for that 1st mile, for the 2nd mile, for the 3rd mile? All right. Okay, I think that's about it. You can manipulate this. I'm going to scroll it up. It shows laps, which, as I said, were miles. Unless you hit your lap button, it will also show splits that way. But peak distance. Usually you're going to look at peak heart rate, maybe peak pace. Peak pace is kind of fun. Go down here. The fastest you went for 2 seconds. The fastest you went for 30 seconds. Okay. The fastest you went for 20 minutes. That could be fun to look at. Okay, but for your purposes, it's mostly going to be heart rate, pace, and then you want to get out of here. You're going to go back up and click on X. Okay, what else can I show you while we're here? I think that's about it for now.